Hey there, fellow travelers. Mark here with Wolters World, and today what we have for you are some tips and advice for 20-somethings with traveling. I've seen a lot of blogs online, what to do when you travel in your 20s. What you should do is travel in your 20s. The thing is, it's written by a lot of people that are like 22 years old, and there's more to traveling than when you're 21 and 22. You have your whole 10-year decade of your 20s to enjoy, and so me, having survived my 20s, and I literally spent my entire 20s traveling and living around the world, I have some tips for 20-somethings and advice for you for when you are going to travel. And the first tip I have for you when you're in your 20s and traveling is to do it. Just do it, do it, do it. You will never, ever have the kind of freedom and time as you do in your 20s. Because when you get in your 30s, well, there's a house and there's a mortgage and there's kids and there's family and there's jobs and stuff like that, and you don't have that kind of freedom. So if you get the chance, do travel. Just go out and do it. But the thing is, one of the problems when we're in our 20s is we don't have money. And so that's what I recommend to you is go on the cheap. Travel on the cheap. And there's a lot of great discounts that are out there for people under 30 or under 25 even, you know, if you go that far, is there's some places have discount tickets for students, discounts for under 26s in some places. Find those discounts on flights, on accommodation, things like that, that you can use to save money so you can travel. Yes, you are staying at a hostel for 20 bucks a night versus hotel for 50 or 60 or 70 bucks a night. Okay, so take advantage of that. Go on the cheap. And that cheap also means the places you go. If you're gonna go travel, go to the cheaper places. So if you're looking at cheap places, like for example in Europe, you're looking at the Portugals and the Spains, those are the cheap places, not the Swedens and Norways and Switzerlands. Those are expensive. Choose the cheaper places. Go backpacking through Southeast Asia or South America. Those places are significantly cheaper than doing fancy Europe. So make sure you're going out to those cheap locations, those cheap countries and places, and finding those deals, because it really will make a big difference. Third tip I have for you, you're in your 20s, do the high energy, high involvement, adventure travel. Yes, do the mountain climbing, do the spelunking, do the kayaking and the canyoning in Switzerland and things like that. Because as you get older, it takes you a bit longer to heal up, not just from bruises and bumps, but just the overall aches and stuff. And you'll see, it's like when you get towards your late 20s, you're like, man, I can't keep up with these 21-year-olds, these 19-year-olds anymore. You can't. That's your body. It's time. It sucks. It gets you. So do make sure you do go and do that adventure tourism, that adventure travel when you're in your 20s, because once you get your 30s and 40s and up, it gets tougher and tougher to do those things, okay? So go, adventure for me. The fourth tip I have for you is, look, the internet is great. It'll help you find your cheap flights. It'll help you find lots of information about the places you're gonna go. But my fourth tip is, don't just use the internet to find out where you're gonna go. Talk to people that have traveled to those places. If you have friends that studied abroad in a place you're gonna go study, talk to them. If you know people that are from Italy and you're gonna go to Italy, talk to them. Get the first-hand experiences, because those people actually went there. It's not just a guidebook or a website that tells you what to see. Because look, you've seen my videos. I travel all around the world, and I make these videos in the location to prove to you, yes, we are in Venice, to say that I'm experiencing this. Online, you will see videos and you'll see blogs where the people never visited those cities, never visited those countries. Guidebooks are infamous for just rehashing what another guidebook says. I was in Brazil this summer, and literally I had 3 different guidebooks that said, oh, the train from Ouro Preto to Meridian is a wonderful experience of only 30 minutes and you'll be right there. And when I got there, I'd lived in Brazil before, I'm like, 30 minutes, that seems a bit short. We get on there, we get on the train, and the first thing they say is, welcome to your hour-long train ride to Meridian. You're like, yeah, exactly. I thought that didn't smell right. So do make sure you're talking to those travelers. And when you're backpacking around and stuff like that, make sure you do talk to those other travelers. Hey, where did you go? What did you like? And you might find out that, you know, Pisa's not really worth more than an hour of your time to get your picture holding up the Leaning Tower. You're better off going to Lucca and getting a bike and riding around there. Talk to the locals, talk to people that have been there. Don't just use the internet, okay? Now, the next tip I have for you is, if you're gonna travel with your friends, realize that your friends, we all have different goals. We all have different objectives. We all have different things we like to do, and that can lead to a little bit of infighting when you travel with your friends. So if you're gonna be setting a trip together abroad, talk to your friends and see which friends would actually work best with your travels, because you know what? Not everybody's gonna wanna do the same kind of things. So if you do travel with them, schedule break times. Like, we're gonna go backpacking for 2 weeks together. Great. on day 7, have a free day. You go do something, I'll do something else, because you will get into the fights over stuff. And a lot of times it might have to do with money, because maybe you have less money or they are more money than they do, and you want to go to a nicer restaurant, they don't want to go to a nice restaurant, they don't have the money, and that can lead to some problems, okay? And my next tip for you is realize you don't have to travel with your friends. You can actually travel solo. One of the best things I've done in my life was traveling in my 20s all by myself almost the entire time, because I got to meet great friends that I go and visit. I'm staying in Vicenza while I'm here in Italy with one of my best friends I've ever made in my entire life. I met this Italian guy while I was on a river, floating down a river with piranhas in Brazil. And the only reason I would talk to him because I didn't have any other friends there, so I talked to him when I was there. I've met so many great people that way, so realize it's okay to travel solo in your 20s or any time of times, but take advantage of that and get to know the other people, because you can find friends anywhere around the world. Now, my 7th tip for you is usually in your 20s, you don't have a lot of vacation time. Like if you're in the US at least, we might start off with a week of vacation time, maybe 10 days, so you have very limited vacation time, so make it count. Your friends that want to have destination weddings, tell them no, okay? Send them a nice gift, but save up your vacation time to go someplace you want to go. Look, you've been to Cancun on spring break 3 times. I don't want to go to somebody's wedding there too. It's the same thing, and that's really expensive. Save up the money, send them a nicer gift, they'll get over the fact that you didn't go to their destination wedding, okay? And then use your travels to go someplace that you want to go, because you do have limited time and limited money when you are younger. I mean, that happens all throughout your life, but make sure you're choosing what's right for you. Don't let other people dictate that travel to you. And my 8th and final tip for the 20-somethings out there for their traveling is go travel all over the place, and do that like 20 countries and 30 days insanity of getting up and going seeing the sights and partying all night long, then get up in the morning and get that train to go to another city. Do that because you have the energy, you have that excitement to see all these different places when you're younger, and it's great. And what's cool is I did that for 10 years, and now in my 30s and older, hey, now I'm going back and saying, hey, what are the places I really enjoyed? What are the places I want to go back to, like here in Venice and Italy, I want to go back to all the time, and places I don't want to go back to. You know what, I wasn't too thrilled with Brussels and Belgium. Some places in Belgium are cool, Ghent and Bruges and Antwerp, yes. But then other parts are like, you know, you start to see what you like and don't like, so when you're later in life and you want to take the family someplace, you know, for 2 weeks or a month or something like that, you have a better idea of where you're going to go, because you've had a little taste of it. And that's why I say is the last tip is when you do that traveling, go to as many places as you can, and because you're going to have the energy to get up and see place after place after place, go and enjoy it and love that, and love traveling in your 20s and your 30s and your 40s. Love traveling forever because it is fantastic. If you want more travel videos, 10 things that'll shock you about Venice, 5 things you love and hate about Germany, all kinds of stuff like that, check us out on our website at woltersworld.com. We're also on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, all kinds of things, and we really appreciate your likes and subscriptions, because if you do subscribe, we put out like 2 or 3 travel videos a week from all around the world. So I'll say bye from Venice and have a great time traveling no matter what age you are. Bye from Venice.